welcome to Two Cooks in the Kitchen. Today we are going to make a chicken curry. Now we recently did the butter chicken, which is more of a saucy type curry. This is going to be more of a soup, something you would dip a piece of naan in or something. I think we're going to have it with cornbread, just not very traditional. So what I've done is I've cut up 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and I leave these pretty large because I like to get a big chunk when I'm eating. And I cut up an entire butternut squash, and we will be adding a can of chickpeas to this later on. And I've cut a piece of lemongrass, and with lemongrass you just use the bottom, you don't use the very top. And I release a lot of flavor by pounding it. And I have put a small amount of coconut oil in my pan, and I've got it heated up, so in goes the lemongrass. And we cook that for a little bit until it starts to get aromatic. That's the part I like. And then to that, we are going to add our chicken. And 1 teaspoon of Garam Masala. You can add curry powder. I make my own Garam Masala, and I like the flavors that it gives. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of curry paste. I make my own curry paste. You can buy this in the store. I make red, green, and yellow curry paste, and we keep it in the freezer. And for this recipe, I'm going to stick with the red curry paste. There's slight variations with all those different curries, and we'll go over those someday when we're making them, because eventually we'll run out, we'll have to make them, so we'll video that. So now we've got chicken, curry paste, and lemongrass and garam masala kind of cooking together here. And we want to get this chicken a little ways browned. I just turned up the pan because I put this really cold chicken in there, and now everything stopped cooking. So we'll let this cook up a little bit and come back, and then we'll add the squash. All right, so our chicken is browned a little. Our curry paste is well incorporated into the oil. So let's add the squash. And somehow this chicken seems to have a fair amount of water in it. So at this point, we're going to add some water. We don't want to completely cover everything in here, but we do want the water to come up a ways. So just about like that. So I've added, that's pretty much only 1.5 cups of water right there. And that should be sufficient. And now we're going to let this cook for about a half an hour, and the squash should all be tender and the chicken should all be done at that point. And this is a really easy, quick curry to make, because at that point then we just finish it off and it's ready to serve. And so we'll come back in a half an hour and we'll add the rest of the ingredients. All right, so now our squash is all cooked, chicken's all cooked. So we're ready to finish this off. I'm going to add 1 can of garbanzo beans, chickpeas. These have been drained and rinsed. They come with kind of a viscous something on them that I always like to rinse off. And this is 1 can of coconut cream. It didn't come in this container, but it ended up here, and we're going to use it up. And then to this we will add, this is 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. And this is the point at which your neighbors might start complaining because this smells quite strong. And it's this is where the umami comes from in here. And the only other thing we need to add is some salt. And I'd say about 1/2 teaspoon. And then I'm gonna mix this, and look at that. Look at that beautiful color. And this is what our meal is gonna look like. I'm gonna let this simmer on very low for about another 1/2 hour, and then it'll be time to eat. So we're making a curry for dinner tonight, and we don't have any proper bread for this curry, and so let's try making some naan. And naan is a yeasted bread, so we're going to start with a cup of warm water, 2 tablespoons of honey, more or less. And give that a little stir. Since it's warm water, the honey should come off the spoon. That's my goal here anyway. Okay, and then we're just going to stir that a little bit, get the honey incorporated. Doesn't exactly seem to be working.
Try a whisk.
A whisk would work fine, but I'm not going to be able to get it in here. Anyway, I got it now though. So into this we put 1 packet of yeast. And I've had a terrible time with yeasted doughs this during the pandemic here, and so I'm starting with a fresh package of yeast, and now we let that sit for 15 minutes and let the yeast start to do its thing, and we'll come back and see what we've got. Okay, as you can see, our yeast has bloomed in here, which is what it's supposed to do. We were watching it, and you could even see it happen. It's great. So I'll put this on low, and I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, a 1/4 cup of yogurt, oh, that all came out, that was pretty good, and an egg. So get this mixed up. And we're going to slowly trickle in 3½ cups of flour. This is 2 cups of whole wheat flour and 1½ cups of white flour. And I don't know if I need my shield for this or not. We'll find out. I'm going to stop for a second and scrape this down. And we should have dough here in a minute. And just let the KitchenAid do the work.
Throwing it. Whoa! Protect the puzzle.
That's looking pretty darn dough-like. Now I'm gonna grease a bowl with, you guessed it, olive oil. And that'll just keep the dough from sticking to the bowl. Let's see if I can get it out of here. Oh yeah. That's dough, all right. Check it out. Just shape it into a ball. Put it into our greased bowl. I'm going to cover this with a cloth and I'm going to let it rise for an hour. And we'll come back and see what we've got then. Well, after the dough rose for an hour, I split it up into 8 pieces. I rolled each of those up into a ball. And then I'm taking each of the balls and rolling it out into a Naan-shaped thing. And really trying to get it pretty thin, like 1/4 of an inch or so. And from there, we go here, we take some garlic butter, slap it on there, get a little on each side. I'm delighted that this is working, because you never know. And then into the pan, 60 seconds on the first side.
Nope. No. There you go. Give or take.
Yeah.
It's bubbling up.
See, we've done all these and they've come out just looking like naan. It's great.
Mm-hmm. You look good.
We'll probably serve them with, put a little more garlic butter on them and some salt.
There we go. Perfect little bubbles.
Okay, so our first side should be done now. Let's take a look. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Now we're going to cook this side for approximately 30 seconds. Cooking, cooking, cooking.
Well, and for the temp here too, the pan got hot. This was my job to cook those other ones, and I had to turn it way down. It's on like barely just above low right now because that skillet is so hot. And it's doing just that
I know.
little burn on it.
And also, this is a skillet with no oil. Oh, it should be done. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Okay. Okay, so now we're serving up. Here is our beautiful, beautiful chicken curry. Garnished with a little bit of Thai basil. And of course, a lemon wedge.
Lime.
Lime wedge. That'll be good for putting some acid into this when you're eating it. And here's our naan. It looks fabulous. And we're going to add a little bit of garlic butter to the top.
We should probably point out that originally you said we were going to have cornbread, and then there was this little
I did say
side,
that. And then
this little epiphany moment.
can I make naan?
Yes.
Well, as it turns out, yes, you can. You don't have to have naan from the store. You can make it yourself. And you can heap lots of garlic butter on it, as I'm doing here, and make garlic naan. And I think this is going to require a little bit of Malden flake salt. Oh, that's going to be good right there.
I think I'm making a puddle of drool over here.
And wow, there you have dinner. It wasn't very hard. The hardest part was the naan, and if you buy that from the store, the rest of it's easy. Thank you for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we'll see you next time.